Alright guys, today I want to talk about hedgehogs a little bit. I'm going to name this video like Quick Care Guide. And we're going to talk just a little bit about hedgehogs, about owning them, and just the basics of the things you need to own them. Now hedgehogs are actually very, very easy to keep. They are like an exotic pet, and some people might think they're hard to keep, but they're actually very easy to keep. So I'll go over quickly what you need to keep them. This hedgehog right here is about 5 years old. She's really healthy, doing great. So I'll talk a little bit about what I do and how they've stayed so healthy and good in my care. All my hedgehogs again are very easy to handle, but one thing that you should look into when buying a hedgehog is make sure you get a nice one. Get one from a breeder. Any of the hedgehogs that I bred and sold, they all were handleable when they were young. Some people might think, oh, it's grouchy now, but it'll get nice later. And yes, you can get them to be nice over time, but it's best to buy one that's nice from a young age. All the ones that I bred from 2 weeks on were easily handleable, didn't curl up, and that's because I held them and socialized them from a young age. The older they get and the more stuck in their grouchy ways that they get, the harder it is to tame them. So don't just buy the first one you see if it's mean. It's best to look around, find a quality breeder, and get one that's nice from the time you buy it. If it's just curled up in a ball and impossible to hold, it's going to be kind of a pain, and some people will give up and not really tame them. They're not the most cuddly pet, but as you can see, she's uncurled. See her whole belly there, and very easy to handle. It's not like a pet that you really pet, but they're nice to take out. They're cool. They're interesting, but you got to think about if it's the right pet for you. So it's not going to be like a cat or a dog that really plays, or that you can lay down on the couch and have it sit next to you, really. So basic care for these guys, like I said, it's very easy to care for these guys. All you need is a tank or a cage. I don't know why I said tank, really. You need a cage. And you want as big as you can get, single level. You don't want multiple levels because these guys are very clumsy. They can't really climb very well, but if they do get up on something, or if you have a multi-level cage, they're prone to falling and hurting themselves. So you want at least 4 square feet of ground area, but larger is better. So give them as much ground area as you can on a single level. Inside the cage, you really only need 2 things. You need a hide, some type of thing for them to sleep in, and you need a wheel. They're going to run at night, and that's another thing to consider. They will run at night, so their wheel will make a little bit of noise depending what brand of wheel you get and such. It's best to get a solid wheel without holes in the bottom so their feet don't get in there. So a solid wheel is best, and if you get one that's a little bit extra cost, some of them are pretty quiet, but they will run at night. So if they're in your bedroom or something, think about that. They will make some noise at night. Other than what's in the cage there, you have to have some type of bedding. Now people go crazy with all types of bedding, and they're like, oh, I'm going to use this, I'm going to use a flannel blanket, I'm going to use this and this and this. Well, flannel blanket's actually okay, but it's a pain to clean. They're going to poop on it. Some of these guys you can litter train, but it's not very easy. Some of them just do it naturally, some don't. So for me, what I found easiest and most cost effective was simply using aspen bedding. Now pine and cedar are bad for almost all small pets. Aspen is a harder wood and it doesn't have as much dust on it. Pine and cedar can cause respiratory problems because that dust can get inhaled. So never use pine or cedar. But aspen, it's only about $1 or $2 more. And if you buy a big bag, I buy like the $11.99, $12.99 bags, and they're big bags that'll clean out the cage of one hedgehog at least 10 times. It's like $1 per week to clean their cage then. And I just dump out their cage once a week and put in new bedding. So really simple, only costs about $1 a week to clean their cage. And aspen bedding is the most cost effective and safe for all my pets that I've had. I've had countless hedgehogs, never had a illness, never had a sickness, no problems due to aspen bedding. So sometimes I get people saying, oh, even aspen's bad, but it's fine. So that's all you need in the cage. Then you need a water bowl or a water bottle. I personally use water bottles. I find it to be the best. These guys will often run on their wheel at night, walk through the water bowl if you have a water bowl, and the water bowl will get dirty, and then they'll, if you don't change it once or twice a day, they'll be starting to drink dirty water. people say water bottles aren't great because, you know, they just sit there and they can get dirty as well. But I haven't had a problem with water bottles, any type of illness from using water bottles. Haven't had a problem with them, you know, drinking out of them. And with water bottles, it's a lot easier. I use about a 16 ounce on most of my cages, and again, it lasts about a week. So once a week when I change their bedding, I change their water bottle. Real simple, once a week maintenance. For food, the basic food that I've fed my guys, and these guys have lived 5+ years, pretty much all I feed is quality cat food. You want a high percentage of protein, low percentage of fat. If you can find it above 35 protein and lower than 15% fat, that's great. Buy quality brands. I often switch the brands that I feed these guys. I'll go to the store and I'll just look around and find something that looks good. But I never buy some bargain brand, you know, bottom of the barrel food. I always get some high quality, really up their name brand, natural ingredient type stuff. So cat food's going to be their main food. You feed them that every day. And what I also like to do is throw in some insects. But I found that even though these guys eat insects in the wild, I find that they very seldom go after live insects. And I've heard that from other people as well. So what I do is I use freeze-dried mealworms, and I mix that in with their cat food. So real simple, freeze-dried mealworms, and just put it on in there with their cat food, and it's simple and easy for them to eat that. And they'll eat those. They don't eat the live ones for some reason very often, but they do eat those. And then there's some fruits and vegetables. If you get a hedgehog, look up a list online of what fruits and vegetables are good for them. Real simple, just do a Google search and you'll find you know, many pages saying what they can eat. So you can add in some fruits and vegetables from time to time too. Pretty simple. All you have to do is give them basically cat food, and then, you know, every once in a while, a couple days a week, give them that other stuff. That's pretty much all there is to caring for these guys. Really one of my easier pets to keep. They are easy to go on little vacations I go on. I'll often go on like couple night camping trips or, you know, other couple night trips. And as long as these guys have a fresh, clean cage, give them your water bottle that lasts at least a week, and just put in some extra dry cat food that'll last, you know, while you're out of town. They're a pet that you can leave at home for, you know, a couple to a few days even, if you have to leave your house. So that's one nice thing. You know, it's not like a cat or dog that needs constant care, and really easy to care for these guys, honestly. Biggest complaint I have, like I said at the beginning of this video, was some of them curl up and are spiky and are hard to hold. So again, like I said, do your research on breeders, hold them before you buy them. Don't go into a pet store and just say, I want that. You know, hold it in the pet store for a while, or at the breeders, wherever you're seeing them, and make sure that they uncurl like this one does, and that you can see their belly, and that it's, you know, they're not trying to curl up, they're not trying to bite. Mine have never bitten me. I've had many hedgehogs. Never once been bitten, but I've heard that some have bitten people, so that's a concern too. Just make sure that you hold them and that they're nice before you buy them. So I just wanted to talk a little bit and give you guys a little bit of a quick care sheet there. They should have a temperature also over 70 if possible, preferably. If your temperature goes under 70, you can put a small, around 25 watt. It doesn't have to be anything too high because you're not trying to raise their cage to like 100. Like a small 25 watt red heat bulb. You can put that on their cage, above their cage, if your temperature gets below 70. Anything above 70 has been fine for my hedgehogs. So most houses, room temperature will be fine, but if you think it's getting a little cold, put a small red heat light over their cage. Don't use a heat pad, use a heat light. It gets the, spreads out the light a little bit more, and it, you know, it heats it up, but a heat pad under the cage, if they're sitting right on top of it, it can get pretty hot. You might give them a little burn or something, so it's best to use a heat light, not a heat pad. So if you have any questions about hedgehogs, let me know, and happy pet keeping. See y'all later.